All right, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining this special webinar. I'm Ron Bros, CEO of TopStep, and I appreciate you guys joining me today. We're going to give you our take on the latest release, the April 24 release, and highlight some of the features that we reviewed and tested ourselves. Okay, so there was a lot of features in the 2024 spring release. They listed here. There's also the release notes you can get to in the help support section of OpenAir. We're not going to go, and I'm not going to review all of these. Some of these are very specific release items that feel free to ask us about or let us know if you need some assistance with. But I'm going to highlight a subset of these items that we found interesting, helpful, and net new. So the first one, it probably doesn't qualify for interesting or exciting, but I left it in here anyway. We have a handful of customers that actually use start and end time. I know in California, a lot of our customers have to do this to calculate breaks and lunch requirements. So, in the time entry list view, you could never get the start and end time. It was always unattainable. So they were able to add that to the time entry view. So now you can see that, and you can only see it. You have to enable it. It's under the other settings inside of your timesheet, and it's also specific to users. You can set it at a user or personal setting can set it as well. So if you do use start and end times and you want to expose it, this is how you do that. Shortcuts. So this is kind of a cool little release item. Basically, and I'll demo this when we get, I'm going to jump into a demo account and show you a few of these items. But basically, you can create shortcuts inside of OpenAir to jump from one record or one page to another. So there's a few different use cases I could see here. I want to quickly jump to my open timesheets. I'm working on a big project. I want to jump to a specific project without having to navigate. You can also do external URLs. So maybe if you use like a third-party storage solution, you want to embed a URL there, or you have a CRM that you want to embed a URL there that you can open from within OpenAir. And so there's some different use cases there, but basically this has to be enabled. You can actually enable this yourself if you don't have it turned on. It's under additional optional features under the account phase of your administration panel. And that's basically enable shortcuts. So we'll take a look at these and I'll show you how to work them. They continue to really invest in the Project Center. So there are several enhancements in the Project Center that I will go over, and I'll actually show you a couple of these in live environment. So resource searching, date navigation, UI improvements, some additional field values available, so the optional booking grid, which I'll explain, and then some other usability enhancements. We'll go through these one by one. So search. So before this, you had to go into the resource module and you had to perform searches there. They're really trying to bulk up all the functionality in this Project Center to allow for searches to be done inside the Project Center. So you have access to all the same skills. You also can add job code as part of the search feature here, and actually, go in and look for resources and find and replace resources. So pretty cool here. And we'll show this in a few minutes. And so this is what it looks like. So I know this is a very busy slide, but basically you have your search criteria. So you create let's say you create your generic booking with start and end dates and an amount of hours, and then you basically go into the search, and then it brings up the search bar, shows you the people that meet your criteria, and it ranks them accordingly to what percentage of match they are. So again, pretty useful, and then you can from here go in and just swap out a resource. Horizontal scrolling. So this was a pain because in the before this release, you could basically the only dates you would see are the dates that they allow, and you couldn't scroll right to the right. You can only scroll vertically. So they've added horizontal scrolling now, where now you can see a subset of dates, but then scroll to see remaining dates if the date range is outside of your purview. So this is kind of this is a very nice UI improvement that makes this project center even more usable. Also, this divider, I don't know about all of you, but when I'm in the project center, I'm always struggling to reorder my columns to ones I care about, because otherwise you've got to keep scrolling right or left to see fields. Well, now you can actually move your divider, the divider that divides your columns against the booking grid. You can now expose more of the columns or less of the columns by simply dragging. So this is what it looked like before. And now this is what it looks like after. So again, I have the ability to control more of my screen to make it more useful to me if I'm focusing more on the columns or if I'm focusing more on the bookings. So let's take a look. Let me jump into my demo account. There we go. Shortcuts. So here is what pops up when you enable the shortcuts feature. If I click here, I can see I've got a few shortcuts I already created. So let's say I want to jump into my open timesheets. I can jump in from here, jump right into my open timesheets to finish out my timesheet. I am working on a big project, so I want to tag that project and be able to then jump to a specific project and to a specific tab within the project. You'll notice I jumped into the project center. So if I wanted to create a new one, I could just come in here and say add a shortcut. It will, so it won't let me do it because this one is already shortcutted, but here's how you could add your external ID as well. And then if you wanted to remove something, you can come in here and edit, and then it allows you to edit the name or to delete the shortcut. So again, could be handy time saver to jump within OpenAir. Within the project center, there are a few things. Here's that movable, I can slide this back and forth to adjust the amount of data I see. And then also you can see here, I can scroll to see more data from the bookings worksheet. Here's the search capabilities here. So if I wanted to come in here, let's say I have a consultant needed against this task, and I want to go and find a consultant to replace. You click on this resource, so it knows the dates, it knows the hours, and then from here you can add your different filters. So I could say, show me all the consultants available, and it's going to give me matches to show me this person is 100% match. They have 80 hours available, and if I can move this over, it's telling me I'm requesting 80 hours and they have available 80 hours. And so if I wanted to come in here and say, yep, Carol is my person, I can then come in here and just click, and it changed my consultant generic to Carol. You can do pretty much anything in this search that is you can do in the other searches. So it's going to be able to search all the skills and profiles, items, in addition to the job codes as well. So pretty cool. When I'm done, I just click here, and you can see Carol has been substituted for my consultant. I didn't have to even refresh my page. All right, I think that was what I wanted to show here. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. So a couple of other Project Center improvements. They've added a couple of different fields you can now add. This notes field is kind of an interesting one. If you're using the notes, you have notes on a project, you could have notes on a task, you could also have notes on a booking. And the notes will expose those different notes fields depending on what row. So for example, at the top line where it's the project row, I can see the project notes. I cannot edit them from here. They are read only. But if I'm looking at a task and I see the task notes, this is actually inline editing. So you can actually go in and add or update task notes from just double clicking into this. And same for booking notes. You can update or review booking notes here now. And the booking notes can be really cool because if you're using a booking process and maybe you're doing a request, and if in the request I have to add notes of why I'm requesting it, who I prefer, you can now see that data here and even edit it, inline edit it here in the project center. So kind of a cool task. And then non-billable, you can expose that. So if you wanted to see if a task is non-billable or not, you can actually inline edit this as well now. So marking things as non-billable inside the project center is now available. Um, This one I took me a second to understand, but I get it. A lot of customers don't care about the booking grid, but they do care about inline editing and being able to see all their tasks in a more streamlined way and being able to change the start and end dates. And before the project center, you can only do all that with the workbook, the task grid. But now you can do it. And if you don't care about bookings, maybe you're not using bookings, or you're doing something else, or you don't want to expose bookings in the project center, you can actually disable the booking grid in this last release. So in this top section, you'll see I've got the booking grid plus the tasks. Here you can see I've removed the booking grid. So this is a universal setting. So it's under project settings, project center options, and being able to disable. So again, maybe you want your project managers to benefit from the project center without being able to create bookings or edit bookings, and you just want to remove that from them altogether. That would be a use case where we could still enable the project center, but just disable the booking side of it. So kind of a nice option that I think opens this up to more users. Minor, but in the past, if you did a delete of a booking, you had to then refresh the page for it to actually get deleted. Now, as soon as you hit delete, it is deleted and you don't have to refresh the page. And also, if you hover over some of these icons, you'll get a description of what the icon is doing. So again, giving you a little more information when you're hovering, trying to decide what icon do I use for what purpose. Minor change in the project status. We're seeing more and more customers benefiting from this news feed. And I never understood why they would create this record, but put the status at the bottom, because to me, the status of the news feed item is the most important element of it. It's what you can display in your list views, and it gives you that nice history of changes across the status of your project. Well, they must have heard me because they moved the status to the top of the page where it belongs. So again, a minor UI improvement, but also for me, a little bit of a navigation improvement where now the status is at the top next to the title, and all of the edit options are at the bottom of the page where you would expect them. So better use of space now with this newsfeed item. And so here's what it now looks like with actual data. You can see on the left the old view. Now on the right, the status is first option here. So again, it's a little bit cleaner, better use of space for this record. So those are our highlights from the last release. Hope you learned something. If you need any help with any of these items, feel free to reach out to TopStep, reach out to our website, subscribe to our newsletter. We're on Twitter, or X rather, and certainly all over LinkedIn. So I thank everybody today for your participation. I'm going to stop the recording and see if anyone has any questions.